Good evening, everybody. So I'm starting this class a little bit late because I have to find a very good environment. The generator in my area, the noise was just too much. So haven't found that. I just have to start the class immediately. So today is the final day of the program, and we will be looking at export business development and investment analysis combo. So we'll be talking about how to start your export business and what you need to start. So already we spoke about a lot of things during this 7-day free masterclass, like the local commodity supply and trade. We spoke about international buyer sourcing. We spoke about Incoterms. We also discussed export financing, understanding letters of credit. And finally, we are looking at export business development, which is the idea, the concept of you running your export business and how to start your export business. So the reason why we had to put this for last is just because we are looking at it that, okay, you've learned some rudimentary, you've gotten some knowledge from this master class, and you can now start your export business, or maybe you've already started, you are in the business already, but now you just need to have more idea or more knowledge into how you can actually grow your export business or how you can build your export business. So that's what I'm going to be discussing in this class. That's what I'm going to be discussing in this class. So the first slide, I'm looking at what you need to start your export business. I'm going to be talking from the point of view of Nigeria as a country. So what do you need to start your export business in Nigeria? So what do you need to start your export business in Nigeria? In Nigeria, this can also apply to maybe a few West African countries, the neighboring countries that are very close to us here. So basically, in Nigeria, you need a registered company. You need a registered company. So let's say you have a company with the name XYZ, XYZ Limited, or XYZ Exports Limited, or XYZ Nigeria Limited, but it has to be a limited liability company. So in Nigeria, you need a limited liability company. That's the first thing you have to do. But although this doesn't stop you from your export marketing, even before you register your company legally as a limited liability company, you can, you could have started marketing your business out there, marketing your export products or the products you want to export, or the business that you want to push, the commodities you already selected to work with. So you can, already start talking to people about it, telling people about the product, about the commodity, for them to actually know about it. Maybe right now in this class, let's say you don't actually have the finance or the fund, or you don't have that money for your registered, to register your company or to register your business and all that. It doesn't mean you can't start the communication out there with your friends overseas, or with businesses, or with buyers of commodities. Don't forget the entry points that I spoke about earlier in the previous classes, when I said you can get export contracts and you can give it out based on commission and get commission on it. So you can actually be a middleman, like an export contract agent. You've been talking to possible buyers for some time, for instance, and they are giving you an export contract. What you can do is to take that export contract and give it to someone that can execute that contract, that has the finance to do the job. So by the time you have the money, by the time you have what you need to actually run the business, it won't be like you are just learning. It won't be like you are still new in it. So it's going to just be something that, oh, you already know a lot about, and a lot of people already know you. People already relating with you as an exporter of that product or of that commodity. So that gives you an edge. That gives you an edge. So in this class, basically, what we are discussing is how you can operate, run, sustainably manage your export business profitably. So apart from you registering your company as a limited liability company, the next thing you are to do is to get an NEPC certificate. This NEPC certificate is your Nigeria Exporter Promotion Council registered certificate. This registers you as an exporter. This makes you an exporter under the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because the NEPC is the council overseeing anything that has to do with export. So when you are exporting, or when you get to the trade monitoring or the trade monitoring system of the federal government of Nigeria, where they monitor whatever is going out of the country, the portal will require you to upload your NEPC certificate. So you need to get that NEPC certificate done. And when you start exporting, the first time you export, there will be a portal, that will be an account that will be open for you on the customs portal as an exporter. So this will also need your number, your NEPC number. So that's what will be used. So it will make your company officially an exporter of commodities or any goods from Nigeria. Then the next thing you need is your bank account with any commercial bank. I mentioned some banks previously in the last class, so you can just use any of that to open an account. Make sure to inform your account officer. Let them know that the account you want to open is an export account, so that they can open the USD export crude account where your export proceed will be coming in. And then you need a good capital or finance. You need a good capital or finance to understand, how you are going to run this business. So I won't be telling you that you are not going to spend money. So it won't be safe for me to tell you that, oh, you can build your export business without capital, or you can do this business without you spending money. So I can't say that, because you're actually going to spend money. Even if you don't have that capital to actually finance your export contract, you still have to have some money for export marketing, to do your marketing, to put the word out there, to push at least minimally, so that people will know what you are doing or what's happening. So you still need funds in that regard. So that's why I said good capital and finance. Good capital and finance. So export marketing. The reason why I'm talking about export marketing, because I'm not really talking about it except when we're discussing international buyer sourcing, whereby it also has to do, or it relies on how you market whatever you want to export, or whatever product that you have. And like I already said, this can be a finished product, semi-finished product, or crude product. You understand? So your export marketing, your first 6 months of the business, let's say you are just starting the business afresh, your first 6 months to 12 months, you have to do an intense marketing into getting buyers for your commodity, like maybe on B2B platforms, you subscribing, paying for subscription. Maybe you have to travel to attend exhibition, conferences, or go on a personal business vacation just to meet with procurement managers, with purchase officers from other companies that you know that those companies, they buy that commodity that you are trying to export or the product that you are trying to export, and they use it as maybe their own raw material or feedstock for their machineries. So you need to put all those in mind and, know that, oh, you are going to have to be doing a lot of marketing. So if you listen to the last class concerning international buyer sourcing, we spoke about the exhibition, conferences, digital marketing, and B2B platforms in depth. So we went in depth in that. So all these are, part of your export marketing. So after this class, what do you do? What are the things that you are doing daily? What are the things that you are doing every day, every week, every month in order to get export buyers or importers from other parts of the world? So a lot of people call us, a lot of people call me just to ask questions like how can they get buyers? A lot of people send emails, messages, and I can see that about 80% of these questions are usually about international buyers. In fact, people will be like, okay, are you going to give us buyers? If I come for your training, will I be getting an export contract? So that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about export marketing, and I want you to listen again to the international buyer sourcing class. So the things that you do every day makes up how fast, how soon you get an importer to buy your product or your commodity to actually agree and sign an export contract with you. So it's an everyday business. It's not a business where you just think that when you do it on Monday, then before you do it again will be the following week. Or maybe you are just going to be inside and you think the contract is just going to reach out to you. Like I mentioned in that international buyer sourcing class, there are several ways in which you can get export contracts, several other ways that you can explore, even with your money. So it depends on you and how fast you want to get this thing done, on how fast you want to achieve. For some people, they don't mind. They just want to enter into the industry of agricultural commodities, export, and start exporting immediately. So they don't mind what they put into it. So know who you are selling to. Now, what I mean by know who you are selling to is which country, which continent are you targeting? So if you have followed my advice in our in the first class, local commodities, supply and trade, concerning selecting your target audience or your commodity of choice, So depending on that, you might now look at it that, okay, which country or continent of the world do I know that actually consume this commodity most or make use of these commodities more, maybe as a raw material or feedstock. So if you are looking at that, is it going to be China? If it is China, how do you want to relate with them? Do you have a plan to communicate with them? Do you have a plan to advertise in their country? How do you intend marketing? How do you intend making them know that, okay, you have this commodity in large quantity, in abundance, and maybe affordable, more competitive than other international companies or markets or prices, and that it be favorable for them to buy from you. So, all the country or continent you are targeting based on the commodity of choice will determine how you go about your export marketing, because it will be different from when you are actually targeting the EU, countries in the EU, for instance. If you are if you want to export non-essential oils, if you want to export shea butter, cocoa butter, or products that have to do with cosmetics, the cosmetics industry. So we all know that the EU is one of the leading continents in the world when it comes to cosmetics. So if you want to export, those kind of raw materials, how do you target that market? How do you sell to them? So you have to understand the people or the companies, the countries that you are targeting, that you want to sell to, that you know that, oh, they consume this commodity you are trying to export more than any other commodity, than any other country or continent of the world. If you are targeting, it could be Australia, it could be Brazil, India, Vietnam, Malaysia, Bangladesh. We have several countries that import a lot of commodities from Nigeria that you can work with. So in Nigeria, we have all the grains. We have different exotic fruit, exotic crops. We have the cane pepper, a lot of it. We have onions. We have sugar cane. We have sugar. We have rice. We have beans. We have yam. We have cassava. We have cattle. We have livestock and meat. We have metals. We have good metals, good ore, good reserves of different kind of metals coming from the north. So we have all this. So it now depends on how you have thought about your selection, why you are selecting the commodity that you've selected to focus on, and where you know that, okay, it's being consumed the most, and how you can now reach your audience over there. So this will will align the way you work it out. So it might be that maybe you have to travel, you have to go on vacation, you have to meet with people in that country. So you can factor that into your plan essentially, because the export business development is really about, do you have a plan? Do you have a plan for this business, or do you just want to do it as a side pursuit? Is this something you just want to get into it and get out? So we'll get there as we go along. So do your calculations right. So in one of our classes, I've forgotten where I was talking about bulletproof export contract. You have to do your calculations right. Make sure that your pricing is right, it's correct. It didn't come as a result of pressure. It didn't come as a result of understanding or making a mistake. You made sure that you actually checked everything, and everything is correct. Is correct. So do your calculations right, the export pricing, the negotiation, down to the profit. Everything has to be done right. So you understand how to factor the CBN foreign exchange rate. So what am I saying? What am I trying to say here? If you are giving your quotation, your export quotation to a buyer, you must make sure to use the CBN rate to give quotation. So don't give your quotation based on black market rate. I'll take that again. When you are giving an export price quotation, maybe FOB per ton, or CIF per ton, or CF per ton, you must give that quotation based on the CBN official rate, exchange of the USD to Naira, not on black market rate. So yes, when you get your export proceed, you can be searching for how you can get a better rate to convert it to Naira. Maybe that will be higher than the official CBN rate and all that, or you use it to import goods into the country, or you talk to your bank and they'll give you other options or ways that can help you, or that will be in your favor. But never give the buyer the black market rate or anything that is higher than the CBN rate. This is very important, so that by the time the export proceeds comes in, it's going to be in your favor when you want to change the money into Naira. So these are the things, the little things that crumble or cripple a lot of export businesses around here. So by the time they are giving the quotation, using black market rate. So by the time the export proceed hits their account, they can't get the same money converted for them at that same black market rate that they actually gave to the buyer, because according to the new CBN policies now, there's a lot of restriction. Let me put it that way. There's a lot of restriction on your export proceed, the money that your buyer is paying into your export crude account. So you need to understand this. So that USD account that you opened with the bank as your export account, when the export proceed hits it, the CBN monitors such funds. They monitor it. You can't withdraw it in cash. You can't just transfer it to anybody, to any person. So you are only allowed to sell it to the bank at the official rate of the CBN, or use it to import other goods, So those are the two things that you are advised, or that you are allowed to use that export proceed for. Those are the two things you're allowed to use that export proceed for. So that's why I said you can now talk to your bank, like maybe to your account officer or your bank manager, and they can explain as other options that can be favorable for you at the end of the day. So now, export business planning. I'm going to be talking about the export business planning because it's a very important part of export business development. So without export business planning, there is nothing like export business development. So a lot of people come into exporting without having the mindset to actually plan the business before they start. So this affects a lot of time, because before you know what's happening, they fizzle out of the industry, and you don't see them again. You can't find them again in the industry. Why does this happen? This happens a lot of time because the patience, they don't have it. The patience, their patience has run out. So because they didn't plan before entering the business, they didn't plan it very well. So they just come in maybe thinking everything will be smooth, will run very smooth, and maybe they got their hands burnt in the middle of trying to get some work done, and they were frustrated and they left the business. So it's always good that you take your export business very crucial. So supposing you have a product that you're already producing in the local market, you are selling it in the local market, but you now have an export plan for it. You have a plan to actually start exporting that same product. It's very good if you can patiently draft an export business plan for it. And if it's just the normal agricultural commodity, it's also very important and crucial that you have an export business plan for it. So what are the 5 important export plan tips that you can use in your export business planning? One is, keep your plan simple and to the point. Keep your plan simple and to the point. Yes, this is actually important when you are doing your planning. So there is no need for too long stories in your plan. Just keep it simple. Focus on what you want to achieve on the end that you have in mind. 2, always include your unique value proposition. Describe what differentiates you from your competitors. Yes, so the export market too has a lot of competition in it. So in fact, by the time you understand the market very well, your colleagues down here in Nigeria, are not even your competition. It's the white guys that come from their country to Nigeria to export to their own country are even bigger competitors to you, because they will convince their counterparts in their own country not to buy from you, a Nigerian, because you can be fraudulent, you can run away with their money, and different things. So they try to also carve the market just to themselves alone. So you have several competition or competitors in the business also. So there has to be something that stands you out, that makes you stand out at the end of the day. So three, always develop a very concrete budget plan, a very concrete budget plan. This is very important. Always develop a concrete budget plan for everything that you do. Maybe you want to execute a contract now, or maybe your marketing budget, everything that you'll be doing, because so that you don't spend more than what you are supposed to spend. Then at the end of the day, you are saying that you are not making profit, and there's no finance or money to even run the operations of the company. So this is very important also. Number four, keep your target market in mind when defining your export plan. Keep your target market in mind. That was why I spoke about, okay, which countries or continents of the world are you focusing on, or are you targeting to actually market your products to, because it will definitely influence your thinking around your export markets. So five, a good export plan guides you seamlessly through different export processes. It helps hugely when you are in touch with financial advisors, brokers, and governmental bodies. So these export plans will also guide you through all the export process, because you have to look through it. If you are going to have maybe partners, ready partners, operational partners, government partners, the kind of people that will help you make this business easy. When you are trying to fill in maybe an export plan, what are the things, what are the people that are going to be working with you, that are going to make sure that whatever you are working on goes on fine. So all this would have been planned, will be in your export plan. So what are the key elements of your export business plan? A good export plan consists of certain key elements. The Nigeria Export Promotion Council developed a guideline on export plan development for exporters. This includes the following key topics. So I'm using this NEPC guide so that it will allow us to, because we are in Nigeria, and it's better that we use the Regulatory Council guide. So now, one, it will have your company profile. Your company profile, a summary of what you do, what you're about, your vision, your mission, and all that about you. So to contain your company profile, key features of target markets, and that is the markets you are targeting, the countries, the continents. What are the features? What are the things you know that are requirements for you to meet, and how have you been able to meet them? Then your competitors analysis, like I stated the other time, that even your competitors are not your co-exporters who are Nigerians here, but the foreigners that come from India, from China, from their own country to export the same commodity you are exporting from here to their own country. Then market entry strategy, that is, how do you intend breaking into the market to be exporting to that country? How do you intend to do that? Are you going to be visiting companies? Are you going to be working with traditional media in that country? So how do you want to do that? What's your strategy? Then your unique selling points. What makes your, doing business with you, what makes it unique than the Chinese man that is here? So if you go to Shagam in Ogun State, where they sell wood, where wood are sold, you'll see a lot of Chinese cutting their own wood themselves. If you go to Domosho, Kogi, where cashew nuts are being traded, you see a lot of Asian guys who are especially Indians who came to buy cashew nuts, themselves. If you go to Oyo, Igangan in Oyo, you'll see these foreigners coming there to buy charcoal, hardwood charcoal, and all that. So what makes buying from you unique than those people? So why would their own people that they came from the same place, both are from China. So why won't they do business with themselves and do business with you? So those are your unique selling points. What are your promotional strategies? How do you want to promote your brand out there as an export company, as a commodity or a product export company? I mean, depending on the commodity that you are exporting or the product that you're exporting. So how do you intend to promote yourself out there? If need be, how do you intend to brand yourself? What are the branding measures that you want to give your product? Maybe the product you are exporting is a finished product, and the way it's branded or it's packed in Nigeria, the way you sell it here, you want it to be different from the way it's going to be sold or packed or branded in the US, in the UK, in Dubai, in Vietnam, in Malaysia, in Turkey, in the EU. So you also have to think about the logistics planning. If you are moving commodity from Kano, from Niger to Apapa, how do you intend to move it? Where is the warehouse that you are going to be using over there? Where is it going to be located? How will the truck drivers get there? The truck drivers that will bring it down to Apapa, is it going to be a container truck? Is it going to be just a body truck and just load, then you offload and load into a container here in Lagos? So all these logistics, you have to plan it out. Then you also have to have your action plan, the things that you are supposed to do, how you intend to work, and what you are supposed to achieve. Then your resources, that is every other documentation that is needed to scale your export business, and most especially resources in terms of uh, quality certificates, quality analysis of the commodity that you are looking into exporting. Then understand export contract. I also put this in so that, because in previous classes we've not really gone into what export uh, contract is all about. So if you check my YouTube channel, you'll see a class that something where I discuss that export contract. If you listen, if you watch that video, it explains uh, a lot, a whole lot. So I would advise that you try to watch that, watch uh, that video also to understand more on export control, most especially pitfalls to avoid, because your export contracts can actually make you in the business, and it can also mar you in the business. So it's very important if you don't want to lose money. So understanding export contract, one, there has to be a contract number in your export contract. So what are the things that will be contained in the export contract? So these are the things that I listed out. So one, yeah, there has to be your contract number, the export contract. Like, this is just a number that is generated by either you or the buyer. So most especially when you know that you're going to be having a long term contract, a long term relationship with the buyer. So it's good to generate export no it's good to generate contract number. So this you can use when you are giving out your commercial invoice, your package, so you have that number on it. So the full name and address of you as the exporter and the buyer will also be on the contract. The name of the product or goods. So should in case, let's say for instance, like the shipment I'm working on currently is a container of foodstuffs. So if you see the commercial invoice, has maybe like items, over 40 items, different items that are food products. But if we are just talking about, let's say, commodity will just be that one line, one thing. That's all. Just one line on one page. So, and if it's something that is a lot that you have to write it out all out in your export contract. And product specification. I've spoken about this specification in commodities class. In our commodities class, so there are different specification of commodities. You must understand the specification that the buyer wants, and then you have to make sure they are specified in the contract because it protects you. It also protects the buyer. Supposing the buyer is saying, I want black color of this item. I don't want it to be bigger than 5 centimeter. Then you did that, you sent everything, but because it's not stated in the contract, and the buyer is now telling you, I said 6 centimeter and not 5 centimeter, you know. So in the contract, you can go back to the contract and say, hey, look at what we both signed. We already stated it out in the contract that 5 centimeter is what you requested for all your other photos. It saves both parties a lot of hassle and a lot of stress. So the quantity required will also be stated on the contract, the packaging method and standards required by the buyer. So sometimes a buyer can send you packaging materials. A buyer can say that, okay, this is where I want it to be packaged, but should in case, or maybe I already know that I can get those materials down here. Or this this packaging, maybe you are already out of time. So I'm just going to send to you, and then you use ones I sent back, or that's just the way the buyer wants. So several times when I used to I used to export coal, yeah, you have buyers from their own paper bag with the printed logo and name of the company on it. So, and they will tell you, okay, in 10 kilogram, in 15 kilogram, in 5 kilograms, and you pack and you seal it off and make the shipment to them. So you put the quantity required there, it has to be there, package method has to be there, then the agreed export price, port of shipment, the agreed export price, if it is FOB, like we discussed in the Incoterms class, um, or if it is CIF, like we discussed. So you make sure it is stated out in your export contract. The port of delivery has to be stated out. Don't forget the Incoterm that when I was explaining free on board, cost insurance, and freight to us. So the port of delivery, e.g. Antwerp port, it has to be stated out. The loading port, it has to be stated out in your export contract. The terms of sale, that is the Incoterm, if it is FOB, if it is cost and freight or cost insurance and freight. The method of payment must be stated on your export contract. Is it paying? Is it issuing a letter of credit? Documentary collection? Is it an open account contract? So you have to know what's happening. Then shipment delivery term, e.g. cargo to be shipped 2 weeks upon confirmation of payment instruments. So all these has to be stated in your contract. If payment will be made after goods has been cleared and quality of commodity has been tested. So several times this is done in metal export when you are exporting maybe copper, zinc, or and all that. So the buyer wants to protect themselves and know that okay, what you sent is actually quality they requested for. So they will tell you that we'll open the container, we'll test the metal inside to make sure maybe it's copper and it has not reacted, then we'll pay you based on the value of the contract. Now, the contract value has to be stated. That is the total amount of that contract. So is it $50,000? Everything that you're going to be doing, the number of containers you are shipping out, is everything worth $50,000? Is it $150,000? Is it $1 million? So that contract value has to be stated in your export contract, because this will also help you in financing, in your export financing. I explained yesterday. So name and signature of representatives of both buyers and sellers. So there has to be representative for both sides, and your signatures have to be present on your signatures have to be present the on the contract. Then, however, to get an export order or contract is the responsibility of the exporter, is the responsibility of the exporter. So let's not forget that. That's why we had a class called International Buyer Sourcing. International Buyer Sourcing. So investment management. So I added investment management slide so we can understand how the money we are investing. So how on average you can spend, like the shipment I said I'm currently working on. The value of the contract is about 6 million naira. It's is a small shipment of food items going to the EU. So it's not that much. So for some like let's say in our next cashew trade season, for instance, that is coming in a few months, that'll be up in a few months now, with the platforms that we have already created that is on ground, we are looking at doing $1 million in sale, $1 million in sale in export of cashew nuts. So if you look at it, the gap is wide, very wide. So the how much am I spending and what am I getting from it at the end of the day? That's purely investment management, what this slide is talking about. So if I know that the contract value of what I'm spending is 1 million naira, and I put in 1 million naira into the contract, can I get 200,000 naira in profit? So if I put in maybe 10 million naira on making a container load to ship it out to the buyer country, how much am I making as profit when I get paid? So if I'm putting in 10 million naira and I'm being paid 15 million naira, I can know that okay, maybe at the end of the day I have a profit of 3 million naira. So now, depending on the commodity also, prices vary, profits vary. If you are exporting cocoa beans, dried split ginger, some other high-end expensive commodity is different from where you are exporting maybe dried maize, maybe hibiscus flour, maybe soybean. So there will be like a lot of gap in the profit that you can make in the different commodities. So how do you mark up your quotation, the pricing that you are giving out? How do you make profit on it? You can mark up your pricing, you can mark up the logistics, you can mark up your documentation and miscellaneous. So if you are moving a truck from Kano to Lagos, you can mark up when you are doing your analysis, so that by the time you get all your pricing right, you can now divide by the number of tonnage that will be in the container or that the container will load, and have your price per ton that you can give to your buyer. So investment management, these operational costs might look insignificant, but are very crucial to the business. So I like to, when I mentioned export pricing and I quickly explained some part of it, I spoke about, the cost that goes into your digital marketing, the little cost, all those little costs that you might not count, you might be looking at it that they are small, they are not big, they are not huge, to really give them a thought. So, but all these make up the operational expense to actually run your export business. You give a lot of tips when you want to move your container into the port and drop it at the terminal. You can meet a whole load of police stops along the express, along the road, and you have to, they will demand, for a sum of money that you have to clear, you have to pay, you have to. So there are lots of expenses that you have to consider like that. So if you don't build up on the quotation that you are giving out on your commercial invoice, at the end of the contract, you just find out that you've made losses. So you have to be smart about your export pricing. So that's why I said you have to be very smart about your export pricing. You have to be very, very smart about it so you don't make losses at the end of the day. So you don't make losses at the end of the day. So that's going to be our last slide for today. And we have our program coming up on the 2nd and 3rd of December. So I'm going to quickly explain how this works. The Zero to Export program is done under Lagos School of Exports Management. On the 2nd of December, we'll be awarding our basic certificate in export management if you are attending for that day, which is 60,000 Naira. And if you are attending for the 3rd of December, that's our advanced certificate in export management class, which is also 60,000 Naira. If you want to attend both, we'll give you a huge discount. You just let us know what you want to go for. So the contacts are on the flyers and all that. And if you want me to mentor you in export business, how to start your business, how to manage, how to run, how much you need to put into maybe your container shipment, maybe a container load of a commodity or metal that you want to export out there, the investment, financing your export contracts, even down to sourcing for your export contract, getting the export contracts and all that. And you need me to mentor you in that regard. Reach out to me. You can reach out to the number on this flyer, which is 09058681595 or info@lsem.org.ng. And I'll create time to discuss and meet with you. Though it is not free, you have to pay, but it's going to be a very rewarding experience for you and your export business. Thank you very much. So I'm going to open our WhatsApp class, our WhatsApp group now for all the questions that I've not been able to take. So everyone will ask their question, then I'm going to take the opportunity to calmly answer everyone's questions. So thank you very much and God bless.